Welcome back to the Bar Talk Podcast. I almost went to the wrong opening. I do many of these. I am Andy of Inebriart, and I am joined today by Karl of Tolson's Tap and Tavern. We're recording today, and New World Tavern.
Hello, everybody.
We are also here with Darren.
Chun.
Thank you. I forgot your last name. That's normal for me.
It's a tough one with 4 letters.
Yeah, well, my brain can't hold on to 4 letters. Terrible. Also, co-owner of Tolson's Tap and Tavern. In Pembroke, Mass. I don't know if I said that.
You did not.
I didn't?
Nope.
And Mayflower's favorite employee. I'm going to say that because no one's here to object. Sarah Audette.
Thank you. I was going to say, you forget his last name and you just won't say mine.
He forgets mine. He won't say yours.
He won't say mine.
Because I have to, reset my brain.
It's because everybody's heartbroken that I'm married now. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh. There's a little tear that runs down.
Yeah.
Carl even allowed it, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you walk it down the aisle, Karl?
I did not. If I did, that kid wouldn't have fallen out of that wagon.
So we briefly talked about our last episode. We were talking about events, which is a very common topic because we've done that a couple times. But happy hour came up, and is that an event? What is it? We're not allowed to have it in Massachusetts, so we figured.
Well, it is up for a vote.
Good, bad,
really?
Yep, they're talking about it.
Yeah.
They've been talking it for a long time now.
Didn't it get shut down?
I don't think it got
Not
shut
yet.
down
Not
yet.
yet.
It got delayed. Let's
Yeah.
say. But happy hour, as I remember it, I mean, it was before my time in Massachusetts, but it was to discount your drinks. No matter what drinks you pick or what the discount it is, I don't think there was any cap on it. So you could give away drinks for 10 cents if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Now, does it bring in business? We don't know because we haven't had happy hour in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 2 different scenarios, I think. We have the New World Tavern, which is in downtown Plymouth, which is really close and walkable to a lot of bars and restaurants there. And we have Tolson's Tap and Tavern in Pembroke, which is a standalone entity, which you would have to drive to go there. You're not walking
It's like a
by.
destination.
Yeah.
So I think at New World Tavern, it would cause a lot of havoc, especially for downtown Plymouth, where
Get thrown out of one.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it's not
Or
even
just,
that. But
40 places.
Just everybody's going to
what I'm going to do
race to the
is
bottom.
I'm going to do $4 drafts. The guy next to me is going to do
Yeah.
$3
Yeah.
drafts,
It's-
and then a guy next to him is going to do $1 drafts.
It's a-
So where is everybody going to go? They're going to go to the best
The best deal.
happy,
No.
best
It's a
happy
race
hour
to the
deal.
bottom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a race to the bottom. And if I don't do it, am I not going to get any customers? Because now I'm charging $7 a draft, where they can get a $4 or $2 or $1 draft, where the competition down there is so tight. Now, you could do margarita night, but what makes them not do margarita and beer? So you could lower your price on all these drinks, because if you don't, nobody's drinking a $10 margarita when they can get $3 drafts all night long.
Yeah.
So I think down in an area like that, it's only, you can only lose money. You can only lose money. It's one of the worst things that could happen, I think, in a well-populated, a lot of bars in the area where there's competition. Now, where it's a standalone place, people are coming in, they're not going downtown Plymouth. You could do the $5 margaritas or $2 off draft beer, because you don't have that competition of people that are going to come in, see what it is, and leave to
Yeah.
go to the next place. Do I think it's a good idea? No. That's my personal objective, and I know that a long time ago when they took happy hour off the boards here in Massachusetts, it was because they said it forced people to drink a lot of alcohol in a short amount of time, because it's over at 6. Let's say it's 3
because it was always limited.
Right, it's always
Time-
limited.
time-
So
yeah.
at 5:30, you're buying 3 beers, 4 beers, 5 beers for yourself,
And then you try
just to
bring-
get the price,
Yeah.
and you try to drink it before the time's up.
And then you're driving home and
And then you're
rush
driving
hour.
home.
Yeah.
Rush
And that's
hour.
That's the
what
worst
the
one,
problem
yeah.
was, that people were driving
Yeah.
home and killing each other. So do I think it's a good idea? I don't. As a business owner, I absolutely do not think it's a good idea at all. As a customer, I love it. I'd love to
Yeah.
go somewhere
Of
with
course.
$3
Yeah.
beers
Yeah.
and
Right.
$4 margaritas. Sure, I'm
Yeah,
one
I'll
of those
spend the
people
money
that
on the
will.
$18 burger, knowing
Yeah.
that my beers are going to be.
But I also know
Yeah.
that I'm not a good decision maker when I have a couple of drinks, And that's only going to make it worse, where I might have 2 margaritas and drive home.
Yeah.
Now I'm having 4 margaritas, and when you have 4 margaritas, you're going to have 6 margaritas. And it's
And
not...
the next thing you know, it's 8
Then it's
margaritas.
8
That's
margaritas.
right.
All right.
The next thing you know, you're telling jokes on the bar, getting kicked out. But
Yeah.
I know we call it happy hour or appy hour, where we can discount the food, but we can't discount
Yeah.
liquor. I just don't. I don't think it's a good idea.
But to me, it makes more sense to discount the food because you want them to drink the liquor because that's where your money's made.
Correct.
Yeah, but also in the end, if your tab is basically the same, right? If what you're spending is the same,
Right.
It is. But the
But the
benefit,
person who's not eating.
yes, exactly. So it absolutely, Sarah. It's like, but if you're the discounts on the food, you're more apt to have food with your alcohol, and then I think that creates a much better situation than,
It's safer overall.
Yeah, I've definitely
Yeah.
gone to places and they're like, "Oh, we have half price apps," and you're like, "Oh, I mean,
But
I'm
all
not
of us,
hungry,
right?
But sure,
But
Yeah,
all of
why
us,
not? $4
except for Sarah,
nachos.
are a little older than 30.
I'm
So
older than 30.
what are you, 25?
I was trying to say something nice.
31 maybe.
Thanks, Carl.
So I'm looking at it as
Freshly
a
18.
business owner. I'm not looking at it as a customer. I'm sure if I asked any of my customers if they wanted happy hour back, what would they say?
I mean, your customers are definitely going to say yes. We
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Bring it back. Why haven't they brought it back?
Why,
What do
why
you
am I
need?
paying $8 for a drink when I can pay $4?
Yeah, it's also your choice because you don't need to drink twice as much just
Right.
because you can,
Yeah.
right? But
And the same with the business. Like, you don't need to discount your drinks, but at the same point, when
You're
you're
just-
empty and everyone else is packed because you're
Yeah.
the only place that didn't discount drinks.
Correct.
well, I was just thinking from a consumer point of view. There's only so much I can drink. You're not
Yeah.
going to get me to drink.
Yeah, but
that
there's
much
some
more.
people who have
But
a
some
problem as
people,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
some people have a major, tolerance. I guess.
Problem.
To me, that's the thing is, like, I hear happy hour and I just think of, like, Main Street on, like, late Saturday night, pre-COVID, before, like, it was a nightmare some nights. And, like,
Right, but
it's going to be that, like, every Tuesday?
That's also another thing is, when is happy hour? Is it 4 to 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or can you just have whatever range of that 2 hour? Or
Yeah.
can it be
Yeah.
all day? Or can I have just happy hour all the time? It's always happy
Yeah.
hour here.
Yeah.
It-
So I guess it depends on the laws, but again, I am older now, and 20 years ago I would say, happy hour, man, how come we don't have it? Now I'm like, do I want to be driving home with all these people?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like bumper cars on the highway.
Right, exactly. Which is already scary enough with cell phones.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now it's more to the mix.
Yeah, imagine now you have the cell phones plus you have that.
Right.
Add
Right.
the double. I mean, that is even twice as bad, if not, squared.
So that's my take on happy hour.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I agree 100%. Like, I'm almost, like, why is it up for vote again? Like, that's what I don't understand.
Right.
Like, who?
Because
They think that it's going to bring more business to the restaurants and bars, but it's
Right.
not.
But-
If it does, they're still not making money.
Yeah,
Right.
making the same more business, same revenue.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
one of those, you're going to sell more units.
Yeah.
Whatever
Correct.
that unit is. and
I think the interesting thing is along the periphery, like when you're bordering Rhode Island, when you're bordering New Hampshire, when you're bordering places that I'm just gonna stay. I'm gonna, and again, that's such an edge case because most people aren't gonna drive. I'm gonna drive another
And you
45
can't say,
minutes just to go
if
to
you're
happy hour.
within 15 minutes of the border, because now what happened to the people that were within 15 minutes of those 15 minutes
Right.
Yeah.
from the
Right.
border?
Well, and also, do you want them driving to the to the other side? Just so in back when I used to go to school in the Chicago area at Northwestern, and it was different age limits, and we would drive to Milwaukee. Why? Because we could drink in Milwaukee
Right.
because it was a lower age limit than it
We
was.
did the same thing from
in
Massachusetts
Illinois.
to Vermont. It was 18 in Vermont and 21 in
Do you
Massachusetts.
really want to incentivize that? So I don't know. That's another point of discussion. But honestly, it's more about you don't want to incentivize over drinking.
overconsumption is a huge thing. I mean, again, I'm not a restaurant. We're just a brewery. But we have people who are like, what if you did, like, drinking games? But now you're encouraging people to,
Yeah.
you can do a
Correct.
flip cup competition. But now you're encouraging people to slam a drink.
Right.
You want your patrons to stay and drink more
Yeah.
for the price that you're selling things for. And back when they were doing happy hour, it was also, what did you have on draft? Budweiser, Coors, it was a lot of domestic things that were a little cheaper.
13%.
Like
Right.
now you
You're
have
not gonna-
how can I have the utopia?
Right. Craft beer it's expensive. Like it's more quality products going into a keg. So we're selling it for more than
Well, playing devil's advocate, I could say, well, if you're a bar or restaurant, just sell your Bud Light and your Coors Light.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, if I just sell my Bud Light and my Coors Light, and the guy across the street is doing Mayflower IPA,
Right.
Yeah.
it's that competition that
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that it boils down to like dollars and cents, but I don't think anyone, if you asked any restaurant owner, be like, would you rather happy hour and then lose a customer in an accident that you sort of
You
Right.
lost a
Right.
whole future revenue stream.
right? Yeah, it's like,
Even if you weren't
Well-
the last one to serve them, if you were a person who
Correct.
served them in
Yeah.
that day,
Right.
like
Oh my God,
the
yeah.
guilt that you would,
right.
you were part of that.
Forget about the legalities of it.
Yeah.
It's your own personal
I feel horrible.
guilt to say someone left your place and died in a horrible
Yeah.
fiery car crash.
be like, well, it's their fault. It was happy hour. Like that's just
Right.
that's-
No,
yeah.
that's deferring
And then you're gonna
responsibility.
be shutting more people off.
Well, that's the thing is now you're putting the onus on the bartenders to figure out who's drinking so fast, and if you're crowded, it's hard to do. I mean,
Right.
it's hard to do now.
Yeah.
Never mind when you're in that short
Well,
time frame.
Especially being downtown. You have somebody
Yeah.
that's walking
Yeah.
out of 17 bars and now they're at your place. You
Right.
have a
You know.
brief interaction. I mean, there's
Yep.
been people who come in, you gauge, we're all tip certified, you go through the whole process. You have a quick conversation with somebody, they're able to keep it together. And then next thing you know, they're holding that beer, they're 3 sips in, and their eyes are in the back of their head. Like.
Because they sober enoughly said Bud Light.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. What do you have? Bud Light.
So now you have that regret. You have the chance to see that second one of, okay, that
Yeah.
person's not getting served again. But now you have a whole mass of people who are getting those very short,
Yeah.
this is what I drink.
It-
That's all it is.
And let's look at it this way. So when you go to other countries, like the UK, they have a big drinking culture. And by the way, they don't really have happy hour there.
Yeah.
And people consume, and they consume reasonably. But out here, with the craft breweries and stuff, it's you are talking about higher ABVs, right? You are talking a little higher typically than.
I mean, the average alcohol content at this point on a menu is 6%.
Yeah, it's a bit higher than like in the UK and stuff. It's like 4.
And we're branching
4.5.
beyond craft beer now. You have
Yeah.
craft wine, you have craft distilling.
Yes.
Like everybody
Canned
has.
cocktails, you get
Canned
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And it's if they don't set so I don't know what the law is, but if they don't set like 3 to 6 is happy hour, they're like you can set one happy hour a week, and you get 3 restaurants within walking distance, and this one does 12 to 3,
Yep.
and next guy goes 3 to 6, and next guy
Yep.
goes 6 to 9.
You don't want to
That's
be
a
the
whole
last
night.
happy hour.
You
Yeah.
can be blind.
Your distance
Yeah.
dead.
Like being the
You're-
last stop at a pub crawl. You
Yeah.
do not want to be that stop.
Yeah.
Don't
You-
want to be that
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? Because it's even if you collaborate,
Yeah.
right?
But there's still the selfish motive
it's-
of, I still
Yeah.
want to be profitable.
yes,
Right.
exactly.
During this.
You can't.
What discounts can you offer opposed to a happy hour that are going to bring people in?
And should you?
Yeah. Well,
Correct.
New World used
And
to
should
do
you?
like $5 burger night.
Yep, we did $5 burger night. And I think it was Tuesday nights.
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah.
And
it was just like a basic burger, and if you wanted bacon or whatever, each.
it brought people in.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was losing money.
But also
They
benefit.
would come in for a burger and
not drink.
one Bud Light or a soda
Right.
water or whatever the case. So they leave,
They got a cheap meal.
they got a cheap meal.
Yeah.
I lost money because I'm trying to get in, hey, $5 burgers if, hoping you have a couple of drinks.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make that money on the drinks. And I'm just trying to get the volume in on a slow night.
And do you notice that those people are only coming in on those nights?
Then you get the same people coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
You're
They don't
getting-
come in
yeah.
on the Saturday
Yeah.
because they
And-
loved your food. They're just looking for the deal.
Yeah, and they also they shift. Oh, I'm going to come in on Wednesday night because you're having that deal, and I'm not going to come in on Friday.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, because I'll try somewhere else because I want
I'm gonna
variety.
do $5 burgers at New World on Tuesday, and I'm going to do $5 flatbread somewhere else on Wednesday. And
Well, the next question is that the customer you want?
That's correct.
Right. I'm happy to offer a deal to somebody who, and I guess that kind of plays back into events, which we talked about. Do you have a occasional deal where people come in and they get some sort of like some restaurants have done like industry night. You try and get industry people in because
Or a loyalty.
Yeah, that's why
loyalty
we want.
program.
You beat me to the punch. I was about to say,
Right.
But
loyalty
programs
programs
still play into happy
Yeah.
hour. Now it's something that's offered to some, but not to all, which is not allowed here.
Well, it's offered to all.
No, you should offer it to everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
what she's saying is if you have regulars,
Yeah.
they are going to be on a loyalty program. But if you get the people that are saying, hey, let's try out this restaurant tonight, and they come in, they don't have the
You can be on the loyalty.
because they weren't offered that at that time.
because you're not loyal.
No, what I'm saying is,
But
her
it's-
point is you're offering different
Yeah,
programs
yeah,
to different
yeah.
people.
So it's one of those fine line things. You know,
If
you
you
can
sign
do
this
it,
piece of
but
paper,
you're
you're going to get cheaper
kinda-
food. If you don't sign this piece of paper, you're not going to get cheaper food.
Exactly.
That's what the loyalty program
But you can
is.
sign it. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It just requires you to actually come back.
Are we just talking about like the
Like a punch
the
card.
Subway
Yeah.
punch card thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
But you can
it.
offer it to everybody. But again,
But they
it's
can
one of
say
those
in-
things that if you actually
Right.
read into the law,
They
you're
can say, listen, I'm
fine
not going
line.
to sign anything. I
Really?
don't want to be part of anything, but I want the same price as them.
Yeah.
You can.
you
that's-
technically are not supposed to offer something to one group that is not offered. So, like we have,
Yeah.
being a brewery, we have the beer tour buses that reach out to us and say, we want you to offer our group a price within this price range. You know, the other breweries are doing it. I have no control over what other businesses are doing.
Yeah.
But what they're asking is illegal. We cannot create a specific price for their group that is not offered.
Is that only
Correct.
for
Everybody.
I think it's only for
for
alcohol.
alcohol.
all right.
Yeah,
Food is
yeah.
you can discount food any way you want.
Yeah.
If you want to lose money on food, you do it. But you hope that you make it up in alcohol.
Right.
Correct.
But with alcohol, if I offer and say this brewery tour group that's coming through gets $10 flights, then you're doing a flight and you're like, I'm paying 15 for this.
No, you gotta have the same
that
unless the flights are different, like what's in the flights.
Well, that's
It's
different.
the same
She's-
amount of alcohol. It's
Oh,
the same-
really?
yeah.
Even if you change the
But
quality
I would
of the
still
beer?
have to offer.
But
So
now you're
they
asking
get
her. Now you're
yeah.
asking her to do a bunch of different things for It's
Right.
a thousand
Yeah,
different
yeah,
kind of flights.
Yeah.
And that's what I was confused me about places that have like their mug club and be like, oh, you know, if you join the mug club, you get an extra 3-ounce pour and
Yeah,
every.
totally illegal.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
In
if you're
Massachusetts.
if you're really looking at that, that's not okay.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Not
Blind
that
eye.
you don't do it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, let's put it this way: it's easy. I don't want to say it's easier. It is. It doesn't influence people as much when it's like a subtle thing like that. That you need to know the nuances. That you're going to impact
Right.
a small number of people.
'Cause let's
But
face it-
once you throw it into law, then you suddenly like all bets are off, and then suddenly it's like, you know,
And everybody's going to push the boundaries.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
And I mean,
Exactly.
everybody has
Everybody
little,
does.
yeah.
Everybody
there's a little
does.
thing that kind of, it's not that you're breaking a rule, but you're skirting it.
I mean, I can't give out free drinks,
Yeah.
but I can buy a drink for somebody.
right,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
I mean,
And that's one of those.
I'm not.
That's one of those like
Laugh our way through that one.
quote unquote discounts that I see regulars get really hot about. Is, you know, I've seen it in multiple places from multiple people where they're very loyal, they're always there. The owner comes in, you know, hey, how's it going, blah, blah. When they leave, they're like, rah, 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 didn't even buy a round of drinks, and but like, why? Like, what are you doing?
But your expectation is
Yeah,
suddenly,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the expectation.
and it's like, yeah,
And
I
we
get
love
it,
our
but you're-
regulars.
of
Let's not.
Yeah.
We're not diminishing. We love that you
But
come
you're-
in and you support us all the time.
Absolutely.
I'm happy. Sometimes I'll throw you a pint glass. But when you're asking me to give you discounted alcohol just because you come in every week, that is the downfall of a business. If you
Yeah.
give away the house,
Yeah.
you don't exist in a year.
And
So if you
it's
want to
illegal.
keep coming,
You're not using
and
the
it's
cow
illegal,
and the milk, are you?
which is another thing. And if
But
you're
it's even that buying you a drink, but it's even that kind of mentality of like, well, I'm
It's the
here all
it's
the
the
time.
mentality. It's
It's like, yeah, but you're doing your bare minimum. You're there. You're paying,
And you're
what-
getting
and
something
you're
for
getting
it.
something in turn.
which why did you go out?
yeah.
Yeah,
You went out expecting to pay for
I get
drinks.
and not to like pat myself on the back, but I've had multiple owners of places buy me drinks because
So fancy, Andy.
Yeah, I know.
because it's not that I'm there all the time. It's that I'm there and I bring in 20 people to paint mugs. I'm in and I bring, 100 people for an event. Like,
You're an investment.
I
to
think
be
the
there. You're
but
an
the
investment.
difference is also if you expect that, then that's the wrong
correct.
thing.
Oh, that's right.
There's a difference. It's like you don't expect it. It's
Yeah.
like you get it, and that's and you
You're
guess
more
what, you
inclined
appreciate
to get
it.
a free
You
drink from
appreciate it.
somebody that you didn't ask for it from.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never ask for a free drink. I mean, that's why I called Karl. Like, let's go out. Free drink.
But you know what?
You don't ask.
Not because he's giving it to me, because we're usually going somewhere else to patronize somebody else, and then
He just
Patronize.
slide-
But somebody
You
appreciates.
just
But you,
slide the bill over to
yeah,
him.
Whatever
but,
the word
but
is.
you appreciate it. You just like alligator arm it, and
Yeah. Oops, I forgot my wallet.
Yeah, but you appreciate
It's
it
like
more.
You have your card, and they're like, no, and I'm like, no, seriously, and they're like, no, I got this one. You're like, all right, okay.
But it's hopefully somebody's doing it out of because they want to, not because it's expected.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
I think that's
exactly.
important, right? And that's the difference, I think, between.
And the fine line is it's against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're asking us for that, it's against the law. So
Yeah.
when we do it, we are taking, because do you ever know when the ABCC is in the building?
Nope.
They
They're
can announce
probably not
themselves.
here right now.
Well, they're not open.
Well, that's because we're not.
Well, you just said,
You never know.
You didn't say.
You never know.
You never know.
You don't.
Probably not here.
Generally, they do come in. I mean, every summer they do come in before 4th of July. I don't know if they come
Yep.
into you, but
Yep.
they make themselves known and just, hey, we're in town.
We're in town this weekend.
Yeah.
Be cautious, be careful.
But I've had them come in and go right over to a table
Yep.
and say, let me see your IDs. I'm like,
Right.
oh, why did you go over to that table? Like, is it a setup? What's
Yeah.
going on? But we've had stings at
Yeah.
the
Right.
World Tavern where somebody will sit at let's say an older guy and a younger girl,
Right.
and they won't ID the guy and just assume that the girl is the daughter or somebody with them because the age disparity isn't, it's
Yeah.
so
Right.
Yeah.
much. And you have to ID both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If we had one person come in, young girl by herself, on the phone, sits down, says, I'll take a Bud Light. And the bartender says, okay. And she's on her phone like, oh yeah, I'll take a Bud Light, blah, blah. Comes over with a Bud Light, didn't open it, and said, you know what? Can I check your ID? And she's on the phone saying, hold on, I left it out in the car, I gotta go get it.
So go get
Now,
it.
if she got that beer, she would have said, oh, I'm at the New World Tavern having a drink. And then they would have all came in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you gotta,
So I'm gonna.
And you don't know if they're just sitting at your bar. They could be sitting there having lunch, and now they watched you just do that.
That's correct.
And it could be completely unrelated. And now
Yeah.
they're like, well, I was just in town doing my job.
But if you're
and-
doing the right thing, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can get caught. I mean, there's so many good IDs out there.
So-
Right.
Somebody could give me an ID and I'll say,
I'm gonna throw this.
They
one-
get better every year.
I'm
It
gonna
gets
throw
on the
this
test,
out
it was
there, 'cause
tough.
I have a really good instance that happened, and it was literally like I don't even know where to begin, and it's a total technology thing. So if you have any implication that they're trying to buy for someone else, you're supposed to, I need to see that person's ID, whatever, blah blah.
Yeah.
Girl came in, and she had
A picture of an ID.
no FaceTiming. What about this one? What about this one?
What?
They're having a conversation like every craft beer, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I don't even know how to handle this.
Yeah.
And thank God Tatum was there because I kind of just like, that's on you. But like, that's not in the tips certified.
No, it isn't. It
Well,
isn't.
technically, you get the groups that come in, and I mean, as a person who sells packaged beer, we have people who come in with their children. They're having a cookout. They're
Yeah.
buying a bunch of beer,
Yeah.
and they want to hand some beers to their
right.
13-year-old kid.
Hopefully they carry.
And
Yeah.
you are not supposed to let them carry that out.
No.
Because now it looks like,
And
They bought it.
I've even had it in the opposite where the
and it's 100% innocent.
Yeah.
It's just extra hands.
They're with someone that
What if it's a dog? Because I know the dogs. You put it on
dog
the
has
dogs.
to be
Like
3 years
it's like the
old.
Saint Bernard thing.
That was quick.
But they'll have someone with them that's actively picking alcohol, and they look borderline, and you're like, cool, I need to see your ID. And they're like, well, I'm buying it. I'm like, I don't care, I need to see their ID.
Yeah.
And they get really pissed when they're like,
Yeah.
I don't have it. I'm like, sorry, no one buys alcohol then.
Hey, when I grew
Right.
when I was in college, we did that. We had the guy that was the person that was 21
Oh, yeah.
buying the beer.
But the difference
We're
is
there
you're
helping
not-
pick it all
you're not
out, and they just take
FaceTiming
it.
with somebody who is notably, you
Oh,
put in
yeah,
your
no.
order, that
Yeah,
person
no.
is showing up and just buying
Yeah,
alcohol.
yeah.
Yeah, the FaceTime thing threw me. So it's like you're trying to like look.
Well, then
to
how do
see
you,
who
yeah, you
they're
can't, you
FaceTiming
can't,
with,
that
and-
stuff you can't control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the
You're
state,
selling it to somebody who's there, who's 32 years old,
Yeah.
and they're buying for an 18-year-old that's on the phone, and they're getting, that,
Well, hopefully they're not FaceTiming in the
Well,
rest
you
of
can't
the. Would they
do
FaceTiming
then?
in like
My
a
wife.
different area
yeah,
of
you
the place?
can't do that.
they were just kind of like going like every like beer,
Oh,
like
yeah.
look, they have this one, and
Or
look,
was
they
it
To
have-
be
like their
honest, with
friend,
the amount
like-
of supply, especially craft
Wow.
beer cellar, there's so many different beers. I wouldn't think twice about that being an awkward thing being
To
in there.
FaceTime-
You know, like
No, what would you recommend? And then they're
Yeah.
like,
Is this the one you wanted? Yeah.
yeah, but they're not.
I FaceTime on
Yeah.
Facebook all the time.
you sure do, Carl. You sure
Yeah, because
do.
I watch. Let's put it this way: I'm in like you're in like the Coach outlet or something. People are like FaceTiming and they're like showing. And do you want to buy this one? Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy this? Because they're doing it for somebody that's not even there, far away or whatever, and it's not for consumption there, right? It's just I need your recommendation.
Yeah.
recommendation, or again, you're buying for somebody. We have a lot
So-
of people
yeah,
come in.
it's tough.
I'm
You're
buying
right.
for
There's
my
so many
husband.
different
Yeah.
things that
He
that
typically
can come
drinks
up.
this. What do I buy?
All right, let's do some questions.
All right, let's do some questions.
Love questions.
And just so you guys know, I can't read anyone's name.
Just say the first name.
Other than Jesse McCleary.
What's her first name?
No, Jesse McCleary is her name.
Are these
I got it
live
right.
questions or are these like lined up?
Hi, we are celebrating 20 years of being open. Hey, this is kind of like dovetails in the Mayflower. This year, and we want to do something for some sort of customer appreciation. Any suggestions? Sarah, since you're
Well, we offer rental space that you can invite your entire crew in.
Yeah.
We offer you private
No, she's
space.
saying
private
she's
bar.
a restaurant.
Oh.
She's the
Oh.
owner. She's
Oh,
the
okay.
owner.
I don't know.
Because you guys are.
You got to specify that it's a
Because
restaurant.
your 15th is coming up.
Yeah, these are all
It's kind of
the
the
same
same
people.
thing.
Well, so, well, as a restaurant, it's a little different. I guess you just celebrated an anniversary, so you might be better off answering that. But for us, we bring in bands, we bring in special food vendors, and we just release different beers. We bring out some cellared products. I mean, I guess you could reach out to different companies that you work with and see if they have anything special that you can put on draft, special cocktails or anything like that that
I
you
mean,
can make to.
Have the suppliers come in and
Yeah.
do tastings.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the best time
Yeah.
because now they're doing it for free,
Right.
Yeah.
and the customers think they're getting an added value because they just tasted whatever that person might be doing, whether it's beer or booze or
Right.
whatever the case may be, and it's more of an atmosphere.
Right.
But there's also a memorial type of thing. 'Cause you got memorial. That sounds
I was
bad.
gonna say.
Yeah.
But anyway, something you can remember. But it's almost like here's an appreciation card or something like. It's something to remember the event by that lives on beyond
Well,
a tasting.
I'll tell you, and I'll plug Second Wind Brewing. When we had our 10th anniversary at New World Tavern, they made a special beer for us.
Yep.
And whether it was a special beer or not, I don't know, but it was a special can, so it was
Right.
a special beer
label,
for us.
Yeah.
special.
And they had our 10th anniversary on it, and I didn't know anything about it. They came out with themselves, and I bought as much beer as I could, and I handed out the cans and had a private event in the back room where I bought one of those cans of beer for whoever came in as our regulars.
Yeah.
And
And,
they appreciated
nice.
it, and I wanted to appreciate everybody that's come in. It's not even the regulars. I mean, I don't know what you would say is a regular, but just people that come in and,
Yeah.
and support
Right.
you.
And you know what? It's I hate to say it, but it's also goodwill. It's
Yeah.
marketing.
Right.
It
Yeah.
is.
Right.
But it's also appreciating all the time that people have put in. Because let's put it this way: the community and the people that
They carried
visit
you.
your.
They
They're
carried
part,
you to
they're
that
part of your. It is a community. It is a.
They're part of your
They're part of
community.
it.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely
and
correct.
that's one of those like you can give back to them, but also make it an event. Go back and listen to the last episode. Close on a slow night and
Make it a
do
special.
it invite only,
Right.
and do it so it's your real hardcore regulars and industry people. Then
Right.
your hardcore regulars can be like, ooh, I was hanging out with the head brewer from so and so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
makes
imagine-
them feel
and they feel
And
special.
imagine if you get like that special person coming in, like the head brewer of Mayflower or something like that, coming in and like going, "Hey, I'm hanging out with you guys." Not even a special.
And they love it too
discussion.
because when you have a head brewer in your bar,
Oh my God.
everybody goes up and says, "I loved that." Blah blah blah.
Nobody says,
I love
"Hey,
this."
your stuff sucks." Nobody ever
And
says that.
It is
And
pulling
then it goes
teeth
to
to get a
their
head
head.
brewer out. You're getting a sales rep for the most point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If you can get a head brewer out, that is
Well,
that
that's
is
what I'm saying.
special.
If
I'm
it's-
gonna pump that. That's
but
a
if-
Yes.
special moment.
but if
So
that's
when
the
does that
20th
come in? When's that coming here?
If we had the 20th anniversary here at Tolson's
Yeah.
and I said, "Hey Mayflower, I want you to bring in your owner and your head brewer," it probably wouldn't be an issue. If you say somebody from Sierra Nevada, which is half a continent
Yeah,
away,
forget that, yeah.
then you have an issue.
Yeah.
But
it might still be an issue. It just depends on how much you're annoying Drew at the time, Carl.
Wow. but it's also local.
It's actually how much I'm not annoying
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
at that
but
point.
it's also we want to promote local.
Right.
You want to promote local.
Yep.
You want to
But
promote people that
because
you.
everyone likes to say they know the owner, but
That's right.
You know, they hang out with the owner.
I
and
met
like,
the
oh,
brewer. It's,
Yeah.
Nah.
You know.
But I would say to that question, expect a little bit of loss. I mean, you should hand out some,
Yeah.
which goes against the whole, but it's buying somebody a drink. You know, like your good customers. Hand them a little voucher
Yeah.
that's like
Yep, give 'em a
a drink
ticket.
on Karl,
Right.
a
But-
drink on
but
Darren,
But it's
kind
the
of thing.
it's the break
Have a
even.
raffle. I mean, it's
Right.
the silly things.
Put
that,
out a buffet. Carlos
Yeah.
buffets.
yeah.
But the difference is like it's not even you have to have a loss. It's a break even.
Break even, yeah.
You can have
Well,
a break
'cause you're gonna
even.
get-
You're
It's
losing
going to
profit.
be a lucrative thing, but you should expect to give away a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a celebration. We're celebrating the people who helped us get to that point. And that's the point of having an anniversary.
It
Leo
really is.
McMahon says, "What's the best way to show the staff you lead you care about them, Karl?" He didn't say Karl.
I have no idea.
I was about to say you assume Karl. No.
I mean, you see a
No,
lot of
you keep them employed.
you keep you see a lot of restaurants, and like I do it. I take my staff out probably twice a year. We do a
Yeah.
holiday party. You know, like there's little things that you can do, but I mean, you also can't.
Even
Every week can't be a special employee
No.
week.
No.
And even if you don't take them out, that's like even closing or having like
A
get
party.
together and party.
I don't have food at my place, so usually we go
Fair
out.
enough. Fair enough.
I'm telling you, I think one of the most beneficial things you can do is, and you can't do it for everybody, and this is gonna sound weird because some people you just cannot make happy, but listen to what they have to say and don't micromanage them.
I can't do that.
What's that?
Listen,
I don't know.
micromanage?
Oh my.
No,
There's when I go
Let's
home
say thank
and I
you.
say to my wife, so and so, she'll say, "How's work?" Blah blah blah. How was your meeting? Because I met with somebody. I said, "Oh, it was good." And they say, "Well, how are they doing?" I said, "You know what? They're really doing a good job." She's like, "Well, did you tell them that?"
See, that's important.
Do you know what I mean?
Actually tell them.
No, I didn't. So now I got to go the next day and say, "My wife told me to tell you that you're doing a good
You
job."
don't say that. You pretend it's like no. No, but
So-
the reality
You
is
brought it up before, where like if someone says we used to do it this way or we should do it this way, you'd be like, well, why? And just
Yep.
that question is like them. You're hearing them. You
Right.
want to hear why. It
Yeah.
may work. It may not work. You know.
Well,
And-
any suggestion should be taken as a discussion.
Yeah.
no.
Being heard is
Correct.
a huge
Yeah.
thing.
But there's a lot of people that are employees we're talking about. There's a lot of employees that come up and say, "We should do this."
But why?
And then I'll say, "Okay, well, how does that benefit us?"
Right.
Like, I'm interested.
Yeah.
You tell me how we're going to make the money off it, and I'm with you. And they're like, "Well, a lot of people will like it." All right, so are we selling tickets? Well, no. All right, so like, think it through. Think it through.
Sell me on the event.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Sell me
exactly.
on the concept.
But a lot of
But-
people are like, hey, if we lowered our beer prices $2, we'd get a lot more people in here. I said, well, if we gave free beer,
we
we
get
would
a
pack the
lot
place
more.
down.
I know.
Being packed versus.
But it's so
Yeah.
not a lot of ideas are good ideas.
Right.
But what I like about ideas is it could morph into something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the discussion.
And
Yeah.
that's where the discussion comes in.
I totally agree. It's like the discussion's important. It's like, but acknowledging that they came with a good idea and say, hey, look, let's take this further. Does it hold water? Right? And have you thought about this? And the fact is that you're going to get the best ideas from the most random places.
That's correct.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a big plus.
Yep.
So, honestly, it's really about thanking them sometimes for all the work they do.
Well, and
'cause people don't
acknowledgement.
know it.
We
And
all
it's-
have even if you're not here, so say there's a Saturday, you look on your POS, you see it was a huge day. You weren't there, you didn't see it, you don't know who was stressed, you haven't heard that information yet. Just reaching out, even a text message being like, it looks like you guys got your asses handed to you. Thank you guys for being there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having such a.
Or
just
you
some
crushed
acknowl-
It's hard
You
to say
crushed
those
it. You
words.
handled it.
I know.
Yeah.
It gets stuck in the throat. But even acknowledging it, like you guys really.
Comes
like,
out like you're lucky to have a job. I don't know how that. I don't know
glad
why
you
that
guys
is.
made money. But like it's just the acknowledgement of you guys got slammed.
Yeah, and I think that gets lost a lot of times.
It
But
does.
I'm also against saying, "Good job last night,"
When it wasn't.
when you really don't know what happened, or
Right.
Yeah.
was it really a good job? Were they over their heads?
Yeah.
Were they over their heads for no reason?
Right.
We're in
No.
the weeds. Was it my fault for not managing the managers? So just because you had a
Well,
big
there might
night
be some forward
or-
conversation before.
Right. I mean, I hate to say to somebody, "Good job,"
Mm-hmm.
when it was the first time they did it in a month, and I'm ready to let them go.
No.
I mean, it's just
Right.
acknowledge.
Sincerity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be sincere.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah, don't just throw it out for the
Right.
sake of throwing it out.
Don't say good job because it was crowded last
No.
night.
Right.
I mean, we're hoping to be crowded
The-
every
the-
night. So
Yeah,
But-
the problem is everybody hears all the negatives all the time.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
quite often. They go, oh, we got to improve this, or we didn't do this well, or blah, blah, blah. And sometimes hearing, hey, we did a great job on this. We did a really good job on this.
Right.
And I
Thank
think
you.
that was kind of my point about the micromanaging is like, you know, you're like, well, how many slices of lime did you get out of that lime?
it's tough to do.
Yeah,
I'll tell
but
you,
I'd be
it
like,
really is.
You know, I got 5, and they'd be like, well, you're supposed to get 6. And be like,
Well,
yeah, but
it's-
this one was really small.
6?
Yeah.
That's it? Just 6? Jesus
And it's funny you
Christ.
say
I should
that
be way
because-
more than that.
I'll be walking by the bar when they're cutting limes, and I'm thinking, they could get 2 more slices out of that. Why are they slicing so
Yeah.
big? And then I'm thinking, all right, you know.
Yeah.
Or why are you slicing so much?
Yeah.
You know, they have an idea of like, oh, this night we always tend to have, for some
No.
reason, this night is margarita night. We know
Are we
need
throwing a
extra
lot of
limes.
stuff away?
Right.
Yeah, no. But
If you're cutting just to stay busy, and now it's waste.
Right. Are they really cutting because they know it's going to be a big night and it wasn't a big night? Okay, well, it's
Yeah.
something else. but
Right.
At least you could say, do you say good job for trying to prep for a night that didn't happen?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Or is it, hey, that's your job to prep for a night?
But also having the power, and it's not easy to. Some people are just doing things, and it's so accustomed that you don't even notice
That's
what
correct.
they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden it's like one day you look at it and it's like you did all this extra work, and then you actually went through all of it. You prepped properly, and then you actually talked to them. Hey, so I noticed that you do this every Thursday. Like,
how was it?
how is it? And then they
Yeah.
tell you like, oh, well, we actually have developed this kind of night, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
You never notice it. It could have been 3 months
Yeah.
this has been going on, and you just notice it.
Yeah.
Point it out.
Yeah. I
You know,
feel
like-
that sort of thing you notice when someone else does it.
Yeah.
You know,
What
you
somebody
have
else
that
pointed
person who's
out.
Like
It-
they're just one of your aces that always does, and then like you get someone else in who's not an ace. and you're
Yeah.
Like,
And you question everything they do,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
doing the exact same thing as the other person.
But it's
Yep.
something, yeah.
But let's look at it this way. It goes from top down at times in the way of like if you don't ask or you don't show interest, then the next our managers may not they resonate off of that.
Yeah.
And then it works its way, throughout the entire organization. And the more you show that, because it's almost like learn by example, right? And I think that's something we need to do, right? Just like really, you're
they only
leading.
learned
You're
from
leading.
watching you, Carl.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah.
Oh, what to do
I was subtly
On their 20th
saying-
anniversary.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, that was the
No,
Yeah.
that was the other one. This is just
Stephanie
Yeah.
Crowder. What percentage of sales does an item have to be for it to keep it on the menu?
Huh. That's a bad question.
I was gonna say, I suppose the better question is
Is
how
it-
bad do the sales have to be before you take it off? 'Cause
Well,
that's
That
really
may
the
be
question.
better.
You're always going to have the lowest percentage
Right,
of
of
sales.
course.
You got to.
Yeah.
So if you took that off, the next one is the lowest percentage of sales. So you can't just cut it because it's the lowest percentage of sales.
It's
Are
gotta
you
be a
selling
cost
enough?
versus
Even if it's
value,
let's
right?
say it was your lowest one by far is 10%,
Okay.
and you're selling 100 of them a week. You're a big restaurant. Why would you take that off if you're selling 100
Yeah.
a week, but it's only 10%? So I guess I would take it off if it's not selling. Don't worry about the percentages and all that. Look at what's selling and what's not.
yeah.
Would you take
There-
into consideration the cost of the item? Like if it's 5% of my sales and this is the most expensive thing I have to make, do you take into consideration that it's maybe low because it is the expensive thing, or like is
Again, why not raise your price on it?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
offer it as a pre-order
yeah.
item
Yeah.
if it's that
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, the other part is there's some things you have to keep on regardless, just because you need some options, right? Especially when you have gluten-free,
Bar is always gonna have hamburgers.
vegan,
Yeah, right.
right? You have a lot of things that aren't ordered as often, but you should have them anyway, just for your patrons.
And what if you have that, let's call it your pizza bar, and your lowest one is an onion
Anchovies.
pizza? All right?
That sounds
Do you really want to take
disgusting.
that off the menu because you have onions?
Yeah.
And you're going to be making pizza. So why not keep it on the menu, even though you're not selling much? It makes it look like you have that many more
Options.
items,
Yeah.
options
Yeah.
on the pizza. If you took it off the menu, you might not sell all those onions,
Yeah.
but you still have them.
There's no
So why not
additional.
put 'em on?
There's no additional cost.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you look at smaller, and again, I don't have much to add to this because I don't have a kitchen, I don't have food.
Yeah, she's gonna
Beer
tell us
is
anyways.
There's not. I'm going to tell you anyways. But I love food.
Yeah.
I love going out.
Yep.
Some smaller kitchens, they have very niche menus.
Yeah.
But they have things that can be turned into other things. So
Yes.
you have a
cross
Exactly.
use in a way.
So
yeah.
you might have a low sale on that, but it's something you can offer because,
Yeah.
well, I already have it. It's already
right.
going to get used in
Yeah.
this other dish. So
Yeah.
there's ways of making it a valuable item without it being valuable.
Correct.
Yeah.
See, I had something to add.
That
There
wasn't
you go.
bad.
Wow. All right.
Pay attention.
Aura Showa. Sure. I'm thinking of changing or charging a surcharge for to-goes to try to cover the cost of all packaging. What do you think and how much?
All right.
How much?
Here's the conversation that we've had many times.
Yep. But this is to go.
Oh, do I get?
Okay.
To,
It's a little different.
I haven't had
I'm-
this one with you.
But that's an extra charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is an extra charge.
So we're really talking about extra charges no matter what it is. So I went to a breakfast place, and just recently, I paid with a credit card,
Yep.
and they charged me a non-cash fee.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my
so
God.
if you don't,
Oh my God.
here's
They're covering their fees with the
they're
credit
covering.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want you
I
get to
get
pay
it.
their credit card
I get
fee.
it.
Right. They add up.
Then I went to Asheville just recently, and I want to say probably 60% of the restaurants had an additional fee on all the things that I bought. So whether they called it a kitchen fee or a credit card fee or a non-cash fee,
The fee
they all had an extra fee to cover.
Right.
Because nowadays everybody's paying by credit card. So
They're trying not to raise their prices, but
trying
they
not to
want to.
raise
They want to.
prices.
Well, that's what
Yes.
I'm saying is
Yeah.
raise your prices
Yeah.
50 cents on all the beers that you sell.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to notice.
Right.
You know, not notice, but nobody's going to care about 50-cent increase. But they are going to care about a $3 surcharge.
They're going to see the
surcharge.
surcharge pisses
And it's gonna blow
people
their head
off.
up.
It pisses me off. I won't go back to a certain place I won't name because they charge me extra fees on my.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
What-
a bad.
what
It's
is
a
it?
bad.
Oh, by the way,
Darren
and
and I
very
went
bad
out for
taste.
dinner.
Yeah,
At a local place.
But that's one I didn't want to
And we
mention.
didn't know anything about it, and they charge us a kitchen fee.
And I'm sitting there going, and I'm going, wait, and now I'm
And it's so
tipping.
minimal.
I'm tipping on the
But
fee
They're not
that you
charging
added
me 20
into
bucks for a kitchen fee. They're charging me like $2.20.
But the
But
thing is,
still.
like, you added a quarter to every item.
It's the per. It's
You
the.
wouldn't even notice.
It's the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's the.
No,
But it
instead,
seems
what
to
I'm
be
looking at is I'm
more
now
the
I'm paying
norm
that
than
kitchen
anything
staff.
else.
Yeah, because you're not.
You know, like what benefits
Are
are you
becoming
offering?
more.
And the more of them you
than
have,
ever
the
was.
worse it is. There's
Right.
another place that you mentioned that you went to that they had multiple
Yeah.
fees on there, and that's even
So the
worse.
one thing that I'll say
We
that's
had to cut up
different-
the onion, so we're going to charge a fee.
Well, the
Well,
one
yeah,
thing
it's
that
an
I'll say is
onion
different-
crying fee. I don't know. Jeez.
The one thing I'll say that's different about this is it's a delivery, which there is additional costs and packaging.
Is it
Well,
delivered?
is it delivery or is it
Or is it
takeout?
Well, that's
Oh,
different.
to
That
go. I'm sorry,
take
you're right.
to go versus like
Because
paying
delivery
like.
fee, that's
But it doesn't
Yeah,
even-
that's different.
Let's just
yeah.
say somebody orders a pizza
Yeah.
and wants to take the rest of it to go. Do you
Yeah.
then charge them?
the to-go
the
fee.
packaging.
So now
By
you're
that-
charging almost everybody in your restaurant to
Yeah.
take the stuff home that they didn't eat.
Right.
That's a good point.
And I'm not going to diminish. I understand that packaging stuff, it's
Yeah.
built
I
a
was
price.
thinking
It's
delivery,
gotten
so,
more
yeah.
expensive, but I
Yeah.
think you need to find a more creative way around it because it does leave a little sour taste.
Yeah,
A lot of
it
places
is.
It does, and that's
Yeah.
the problem. Is it leaves a sour taste in people's mouth.
By the
Where
way-
you could say everything's $1 more on my menu.
Yeah.
Nobody would
Yeah.
care. If
But-
you say I'm going to add $1 to your bill because of takeout stuff, they're like, well, "What the hell is this?"
Right.
By the way, to all our competitors, go for it.
I encourage it.
But they're getting away with it.
Yeah,
So
it's
why wouldn't I
just-
do it?
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just it's.
I think a
the
lot of people
principle.
don't notice. To be honest, I don't look at my receipts. I don't look to see what's being charged. I just pay.
So
But now I might start looking
Right.
because I see a
And
lot
nobody
more of it
tells you.
popping
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah, they
charge
just do
you.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a place in Vegas. You'll love this.
Yeah.
We went to we were having the lunch with and they charged because we had a party of 6. They charge you what whatever
gratuity fee or whatever?
gratuities built in.
I
Right?
don't mind a built-in
I'm
gratuity.
okay with that. But you know what we did? We paid a gratuity on top of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We left because we didn't notice.
Yeah.
Person came running out and says, "Hey, you actually added a gratuity to the gratuity," and
I
they
thought
actually
it
said
was
that,
nice of them, yeah.
and it was awesome, and it was like, No, keep it.
Yeah.
Right, at that
Because
point,
you know what?
yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
did a great.
But
thank
later
you for-
on, if I were to go back
Oh
and
my
look, I'd be
God.
like, wait a minute.
But you know,
and
sorry,
then I might make a call.
but now I remember
Which
it,
is
and I
illegal.
mentioned in a podcast that's going to be like
Illegal
consumed by
to-
millions.
It's illegal to add on
Yeah.
a gratuity to a bill.
A party 6, really?
Yep.
Oh,
Because you're
I
forcing
didn't-
them
yeah, there
to
you go.
pay a gratuity that
Yeah.
maybe you got shitty service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that here in Mass? Or just
But the shitty service?
no the law? You said it's illegal.
Well,
I believe it's illegal in
might be
Massachusetts. I
both.
don't know about other states.
Yeah,
Maybe both.
Because
I didn't
now
know
you're
that.
charging,
Yeah.
you're
So you're
forcing
forcing
someone to pay
someone,
more
yeah.
than they shouldn't.
right.
Even
Alright.
though we're just auto adding it for you to make it convenient, and you can
Right.
take it off if you don't want
Yeah.
to.
Right. But nobody
the
knows that.
square thing
Yeah.
gives you the choice.
Exactly.
It's like the big squares and then the little thing in the bottom.
Hey,
is
before we go to the next question, because that's another
They
one.
find
It's
it
like,
so.
oh yeah, don't you love the auto like gratuities? Like, oh, we're starting at 25%.
Yo, I've seen that. Yeah, it's
Yes.
crept up. It is definitely
Yes.
crept up.
Oh my God, that is
Yep.
like, that's okay. That's a different podcast.
Well, since we're talking about tips, Valerie Perry, do you use restaurant owners 2 separate checks for employees, one for payroll and one for reported tips, or do you combine both on one check?
Well, right now, say that again.
Yeah, I'm like,
So for the reported tips and their normal pay, is that one check or 2 checks?
It's one check.
Yep.
And in Massachusetts, they changed maybe 6 months ago to the way you report. So, years ago, it used to be a cash business. Now it's
Yeah.
all credit card. When you, I should say, report your meals tax to the state in Massachusetts, they now ask you for what you sold in cash and what you sold in credit cards. Before it was food and booze.
Yeah.
Now they don't care about the food and the booze. How much cash, how much credit cards.
Right.
And then you go down the line.
Yeah.
You can't hide your tips anymore because
Right.
they're going to look at your payroll and say, well, how come your payroll was 42,
Yeah.
how come your credit card tips were
And so-and-so's
23%
reporting
and your
only-
cash tips were only 2%.
Right.
Yeah.
So they can find that. So it's the state's getting
Smarter.
Smart.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
they want their money.
Yeah. Well, it's smart. They're not letting people like slush their,
And it's one of those things that, like, I know people who've been in the industry for years, and that's kind of like was kind of the cool part is you got a lot of unreport. But then, like, try to go get a loan or a mortgage. And,
and
Or
your
what we
income's
just
like
went
down
through
this
with
far.
COVID and people trying to
yeah.
get that extra money during that time.
But
Like
you
a
have
lot of
no
people
record
couldn't.
of reporting
There was
it,
no
yeah.
record.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
So it's, I mean, I'm sure it was worth it for a long time, but there's some things that can happen
It'll
that
bite you
just
in the ass sometimes.
Right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
As long as you make more money, I guess, from an individual, you got to weigh your risks.
yeah.
and stuff,
I mean,
but-
I think
but yeah,
every
it
industry
just-
has a way of hiding a little bit,
yeah,
but
it's all that way.
But not the podcast industry because we don't make it.
I did read I read an interesting
Here,
article.
you want a tip? It's in cash. So no.
Just do it off first, so I don't have to report it.
I read an interesting article recently that said that the average tip has actually raised from 18 or 15% was originally, then it bumped to 18. Now 25
like
is
20.
considered the average
Wait,
tip.
25?
25% is
Okay,
considered
so I'm
the
a cheap
average.
tip. I must be a
my
cheap tipper
biggest,
now.
my biggest issue with people that coming in to work for you, they expect that you're hiding cash for them. Okay? Whether that's paying cash to a musician or somebody that comes in
Yep.
for an event,
Right.
we always write checks. And they're like, well, we have to pay taxes on that. I'm like,
Yes.
We
well,
have
if
to pay
you
tax-
don't, I do.
I do.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So why should I pay your taxes?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the same thing with a server or a bartender.
Yeah.
They should claim, as a good American, every tip that they get
Right.
and pay taxes on it because I have to pay all my taxes. Why shouldn't they?
Right.
Yeah.
And if
So
they're-
that's my, being a dink kind of thing. But,
I-
it
I-
is
I
really
think
true.
I think it's that they don't realize that they're not paying the tax, which means then you have to pay
That's
the
correct.
tax.
Someone is.
Yeah.
I mean, at New World Tavern, we paid $50,000 one year in taxes. In music.
Yeah.
And way back then, before I knew any better, I was paying them cash because it was just convenient that night. Pay
Yeah.
them cash and go. So I claimed it on my taxes, and my
It doesn't exist.
tax guy says, well, where's this $50,000? I said, oh, I paid it out to all the musicians. They said, well, prove it. I said, well, I'm short $50,000. They said, well, how do I know you didn't put it in your pocket? That's what the government's going to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you can say that you paid all these people. You got to pay taxes on that $50,000. I'm like,
Yep.
Lesson
went to
learned.
every
Lesson
single
learned.
musician. I said, you're getting a check.
Yeah.
90% of the musicians say, okay, no problem.
Yep.
The 10% said, oh, well, I only play for cash only.
So we replaced the
Weren't
10%.
professionals.
Yeah.
They weren't professionals.
Right.
And the professionals say, that's okay. Here's my 1099. We're all
They
set.
get it.
Yeah.
Right.
So just because, they're out there getting cash, don't offer them cash.
Well, and I think a thing that a lot of musicians, not a lot, that a lot of them have gotten better about this, but when it comes down to it, you hired them. They are your employee for that time
Yeah.
frame.
Yeah.
And when they start getting, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, well, I don't have to hire you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it comes down
I'll
to.
go to the next guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Or girl.
But there's a legal
probably
way of
not.
doing things, and if we don't follow the legal way, there's girls.
Oh, no, some of them are really good.
I'm just going to throw it out there,
We
man.
got some good ones.
Like
Fantastic.
Cher. I like Cher.
Cher's great.
You
I'm
guys
talking
have
about
someone big
Malfit.
playing here.
Valerie was really awesome.
Yeah.
She was awesome
Yeah,
on
saw
Sunday.
her on
Yeah.
your social media.
She's really good.
You know why? Because social media gets the word out of what we're doing.
Marketing.
Marketing.
That's what it's
301.
called.
301.
Because that's where it goes nowadays.
That's where it
I
goes.
swear, it's marketing has changed like over the last 20 years.
Oh, it's crazy.
And
But that's a whole nother episode, Darren.
I know. There you go. All right.
Say, is there more questions? Are we done with
I
that?
know. Next
we're
one.
actually gonna this is the last call.
We're at last call
Yeah.
already.
Last call.
Yeah, it flies by.
See,
We're-
the more Guinnesses you drink, the faster this thing goes.
Is this when tequila shots start? Or?
Sure, yeah. This is where
Okay.
we start to
Wow.
kill shots and call an Uber to get ride home. That's why we don't come to Tolson's that often. So this part where we go around the table and people can plug whatever they want to plug. And because I haven't thought of anything yet, I'm gonna start with Karl.
Great. I will plug. Let me see. I'm going to say local beer. Support your local brewery. Carry it if you're a business owner in a bar or a pub or a restaurant. It might be a little more expensive, but I think the people that come to have a few drinks will appreciate it. And I know the local people that they hire would love it. So support local.
All right, Sarah, what do you got?
On the spot.
Yeah. I don't want to go in order that way.
I know. We're going to
Oh,
rotate
yeah.
the orders.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just going to tag on to what Karl said. Like a lot of.
Loser.
Buy our local
Wow.
beer.
Well, no, I mean, your local restaurant they're picking up local products. I mean, everywhere you go to nowadays, it's local supporting local supporting local. So when you're going into a local restaurant, you're supporting a local small business who's supporting another local small business. So wherever you go,
And the staff
Local.
is local?
the staff is local.
Yep.
Half the time, they might even be sitting next to you while you're ordering. So
Okay.
just keep supporting local.
Darren, you want to give a shout out to big business?
Yeah, that's absolutely. You should go. No,
And that's all the time we have.
No, I think the thing I want to give a shout out to is really about, going out is more than it is kind of like getting out there and interacting with other people. It's like we've been in this era of COVID, hide, isolate, and going out is huge, right? It's really, you get to interact with people, you get to meet people you never knew. And you get to be in an environment and create those memories that, you're not going to get sitting at home watching Netflix.
Yeah. Go out and make friends. Except for you, Karl.
I have enough friends.
Yeah, something like that. I'm going to give a shout out to our friends at the 2023 Bar and Restaurant Expo because they're bringing us back. So we're going to be at their expo in Vegas in March. Dan, Karl, myself, producer Fish will be there producing or whatever. What does he do?
I'm not sure what he
I
does.
don't know what he does.
No.
I thought he was just your babysitter, Andy.
No, he was the one that got
I know he
super
takes
drunk
out all
last
the
year.
bad.
There you go.
I know he takes all the bad things that I say on the
Yeah.
podcast, but
So
that's
he's
all
an editor. He's like,
Master of the beat
mute,
button.
mute, mute.
So yeah, we're gonna be there. I don't have the date and time yet, but as soon as I do, I'll make that available. And we're gonna be on the next stage, I believe is what it's called. It's like right in the middle of the convention center. And we had a great time last year with Chef Brian Duffy and standing room only crowd. Felt like a little celebrity or a little rock star.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can there be like a little prize? We can do like a guessing game on what Hawaiian shirt will Karl wear.
Karl got his chest signed last.
I
last
saw
time.
that.
It was
I
pretty
did
sick.
see that.
Seriously?
That was the
All right.
funniest damn thing I've ever seen.
With the Sharpie.
I'll have him
Bad
head out with I'll have him head out with some of the
It's
my
like a
spam
4-month
musubi.
tattoo, that thing.
I was
yeah.
gonna say, let's bring a tattoo gun next time.
No, you can scrub that right off with some sandpaper.
You ain't scrubbing anything.
If you're going to be out in Vegas at that convention, make sure you check out our show. And if not, you can check out the episode when it airs, probably the week after, 2 weeks after, depending on what the schedule is. And if you want to email us, you can email us at bartalkcast@gmail.com with all your love and your hate. And you can find us on all social medias at bartalkcast. And we will catch you guys next time.
See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/inebriart to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at inebriart or at inebriart6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebriart, and all the other shows on the Inebriart Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. Thanks again for listening.